Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to be here with amazing colleagues of mine just to share and network what good instructional practices are all about. For the years that we've been in BPA, we've done observational classrooms. Back in the day, we used to call it model classroom. We no longer utilize the word model due to the fact that, let me explain and preface that, there is no such thing as a model classroom. There's observational facets within the classroom and teacher instructional delivery. However, there is no such thing as everything being to perfection. So therefore, we call it observational. We chose this school year, we chose this amazing school to be one of the first to be observational in a professional method where all schools will be coming in and going out and watching this school be observational in South Campus because they have finally reached, I want to say, they have finally reached a continuum of learning just like it was proposed when BPA first started its vision. So I believe that every single colleague, professional educator that works for Bridge Prep Academy will leave South Campus with an instructional practice that can turn key within their school. And we should hear it from themselves. Today, as guests, we have Village Green and we have Hollywood Hills, and they have had the honor and the availability to be able to walk into the classrooms at South Campus, take note taking, note making, discuss, network with one another. What are the challenges and what are the best strategies that they picked up from actually observing classroom teachers within this school? We want to I personally want to thank Ms. Rodriguez and her administrative team, her teachers, and her staff for opening their doors to us, for allowing us to take time of their busy schedule to do this kind of practice. But this kind of practice will not only reinforce the other schools that come in to observe her, but it will also reinforce the administrative team here at South just because of the networking that takes place in an observational visit. So I will begin to my right with the leader of South Campus to discuss to you all what it takes, what it has been like, and what has she taken from observational visits at South Campus.
Good morning. Basically, I believe that the major reason in why we have been able to put many systems in place is because of the climate that we have here. I believe that our staff is very hardworking. Our staff has been very open to learning new things, learning procedural things that have really enabled all of us to roll in the same direction. One of the best practices that we use here is that on a weekly basis, Ms. Fernandez, Ms. Sarita, and myself meet with each teacher for common planning. That is not, we don't change that for anything. Whatever comes up to our office for that day, whatever comes in, whatever deadline we have, we work around it. We respect that time with each teacher and do not cancel or reschedule those meetings and that time to really sit one-on-one with our teachers. Through that, the lesson planning, the CBC, the way of work has really been able to function because it is a constant conversation between our instructional coach leader and having the backing of administration. That is definitely something that we've put in place that has helped the school.
Thank you for sharing. Ms. Fernandez, would you like to share how your role has impacted and what these observational visits have done for you?
So first, I would say that definitely agree with Ms. Rodriguez. I think the teachers, first and foremost, are very hardworking, very dedicated. I think we have a lot of follow through here, which is something that's very important. When we have a vision, it's a vision from beginning to end. How does something begin, the process, and how we're going to wrap that up. But then there's a reflection piece, and I think that that's a lot of what happens through common planning. Clearly, a day in a classroom is planned beginning to end. And then that reflective piece comes in where we look at data, very important. and we plan around that data. So if something needs to be revisited, then we have to do that. But if we find that in certain classrooms with certain groups, we can speed up the instructional process, then we do that as well. We look at every kid individually, and the results of doing that were evident in last year's assessment, where we did see a huge improvement in our learning gains. So looking at every child, looking at their maximum potential and how we can take them there, the DI process is an integral component of that. Mastery Connect is something that I feel the teachers are now welcoming, because it is continuous and it's something that gives us that immediate feedback that we all look for. So taking those components into mind and planning an instructional lesson a day from beginning to end, and then reflecting, is something that has proven to be very positive.
Thank you for sharing. Now, Miss Sarita is our instructional coach. Talk to us about observational visits and what do you think that does for you as an instructional coach?
So what I really enjoyed about the observational visit is that we get to learn from other individuals that are in the same field, and we get to hear some of their struggles that we may not necessarily be experiencing, but in the event that we were to experience them, we now know how they are tackling that problem. We also shared with them what our best practices are, and we got their feedback as to how they implement those things. So for example, when Tampa came, they mentioned to us that they have like a staff meeting weekly, whereas we do that monthly. So we thought about it and we were like, that may be something that in the event that we were to need it to meet like that with the entire staff, we may try implementing that.
So awesome. So you think it's observational visit works both ways?
I do feel that it works both ways, and it allows you to network and get to know those individuals that are in that same capacity. So if I have a question or they have a question, we now know who we are versus a name on an email. So I've had other instructional coaches reach out to me via text, hey, how do you do this? Or I don't remember that, or and things like that. So it does work in both
And
ways.
by you explaining it, I believe that then it reinforces your skills as
Yes.
well. Okay, so I think that being that we put this practice into play, as a coach, you feel confident that it's an excellent practice.
I do. I think the majority of individuals in the world learn best by not only seeing but practicing, doing, and having someone that they feel comfortable enough that they can reach out to. Because maybe in their school, the administrator doesn't handle whatever that task is, so they feel like, who do I go to? And they may not feel necessarily comfortable with going to someone, above their level, but they have someone at their level that they can reach out to and they feel okay with that. Like it's comfortable. It's a comfortable setting to ask questions and get further understanding on whatever it is.
Thank you for sharing. And most of all, thank you for being that coach that has opened not only your phone lines, like you said, your communication lines, and you've really been a phone call away from whatever I've needed or my team has needed. And to me, that is extremely important because you have been definitely a strategic, yes, a strategic, I want to say strategy that I call you a strategy that has allowed us to tap on. So thank you. Mr. Nicholas Cadino, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well.
So I want to thank you publicly, and I don't do that much, and I can't do that much for reasons that everyone here knows. But I want to thank you publicly because I want to say for 2 years now, and correct me if I'm wrong, I have sent teachers here to come and observe you. I have sent teachers here to come and ask you questions. I have sent here teachers just to know what you do on a daily basis, and haven't asked you to say yay or nay. I've just put you in the in the forefront, and I apologize for doing that, and I don't apologize because I think it's made you stronger. And so I would like you to talk to us publicly as a teacher what that has done for you, and be honest and transparent.
I appreciate you putting me in the front line. It's great. No, but for real, it's actually a great learning curve. So I think this has actually brought me a lot of skills within teaching. There's no one in this world that is perfect. There's no teacher in this world that is perfect. So I think no matter how good things are going, I think there's always a way of learning. So, example, last year, Cruz came, and my first question to him was, what am I doing wrong? That is always my first question. I ask for the same thing. What am I doing wrong? Because I know the goods I'm doing. I just want to know those little things that I could improve it. So as a teacher, I feel like a lot of teachers in this school specifically, they're always trying to do better, which evidently helps the kids because it helps them do better. So it's you're never perfect and you never want to settle. You always want to strive for better, and that's what you need to do as a teacher.
Thank you for that. So, wow, that was a powerful response. So, how does it feel as a teacher when you have these individuals that are in this room, including myself, going into your classroom and observing you? How does that make you feel?
It doesn't really make me feel any type of way. I feel like specifically on my administration at least, it's more of a family based. So like we just talked about being comfortable, and I feel like I have no problem reaching out. If I have any type of problem in the classroom or any type of problem wherever it may be, I have no problem messaging one of them or messaging another teacher. That way I can get help. Help when we're helping each other, we're helping each other as a family. It makes everything so much easier. It's a lot comfortable. It makes, like I said, it makes everything a lot easier.
So, what you're trying to say is that you feel that a lot of your success has come from I want to say the feel, the culture that this school has built.
Culture is a big thing. It makes once you're feeling comfortable, everything is just flow. It flows together.
Couldn't agree more with you. So we want to welcome again one of the principals that I admire wholeheartedly, not just because of the 30 plus years that we have in a collegiality relationship, but because of what he has in his school, how many tasks at hand he has to handle. And he's here today to actually observe South Campus for the non negotiables. And I will let him speak as to the experience of observing algebra. We're going to go do and conduct other observations. But your first observation in algebra, how different was that from what you see at your school site? And what was it that you're taking back as the principal?
Not so much difference, but one of the things that I see that they both have in common is the rapport with the kids. They make sure that they give importance to whatever they're teaching, and you have to learn it. I think they're both very well in making sure that the kids feed off each other. I saw that he very strategic with, all right, now is your time to work. Like he went over real quickly. He's not one of these, because I remember when I taught algebra, when I was taught algebra, and even sometimes when I taught it, it was kind of that monotone, wah, 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 wah. You guys got to get this, let's do it as fast as possible. Where what I see with them is that they do the kind of in I guess adhering to the new productive struggle, where he's letting them just do a problem and they're fighting. And he saw at the beginning they were having issues, so he kind of reined everybody back in and went over the problem with them, which I thought was phenomenal. Exit slips, I would say, and I know Mr. Briganti does them on occasion, but I'm assuming your exit slip is on a daily basis. What do you do with that exit slip? Just fill me, because I'm going to see in the back end of that.
So what I do is since we have block schedule, we'll have that class either 2 or 3 times. Most of the time it's 2 times. So we'll do an exit slip for those 2 classes. I'll average those out, and then at the end of the week, that's a grade. So let's say a student gets a 90 and an 80, he's got an 85 for a quiz grade at the end of the week. Now, if you have the other grade will be either Carnegie or they had a test that week.
So that would probably be one of the things that I want to go back with Mr. Briganti and discuss, see how we could do something like that to make sure that the kids are getting an understanding of the algebra. Because from what I saw, it's a doozy of the stuff, and
it keeps them engaged, because I feel like the exit slip, especially since it's the same exact thing as the actual assignment that they're working on in class, it keeps them wanting to learn this. That way, they get a good grade at the end.
And another thing that I saw that was very powerful was that I saw that the coach was in there, and she knows the kids, and there's a rapport, and she was working with the kids, and I thought that was huge too, because I mean it's the 5th week in school. And they already know her probably from previous years or whatever, but she's in there working with them. So that's something that I want to make sure we're supporting Mr. Briganti in doing that as well.
Okay, so as a principal, how did you see this process working? And do you feel, being also a board member, do you feel that all of our principals in Bridge Prep will literally take a learning opportunity from this experience?
I think the coach hit the nail on the head. I mean, even though you're coming in as an observer to learn something, or you're the one that's providing opening the doors for people to visit you, everybody learns. Because even we were having some sidebar conversations, and I knew that we weren't talking about math, we were talking about things that could be done. The young lady from Village Green was kind of painting her scenario for us, and we were talking about things that we could help her with, or that we've seen done or could do. both with the curriculum and managing the class. So I think if anybody does it, you're going to get something out of it, regardless. Because like Mr. Canino said, and I think Rodriguez said the same thing. Everybody manages things differently. Everybody operates differently. There's no perfect model. But the more arsenal you have, the better you are to attack the problem. You know what I mean? Now that I know there's good things going on, I'm actually reflecting myself and writing things down. Oh, I like how she does this, or I can take this back. Things that I hadn't even thought about that are very simple to do. However, keep everybody together and true to whatever the vision is.
Thank you so much, Mr. Marcelo. Miss Kelly, how are you? So, just so that you all know, Miss Kelly is the coach from Hollywood Hills. Talk to me a little bit about how you compare and contrasted your school from this school, and be as transparent as possible, and how or what this experience will do to you moving forward.
Well, first of all, thanks for having us. It's been an eye opener. There are a lot of similarities with our school. There were some procedural implementations that you have at your school that I think we would benefit from. And I discussed some of them with Ms. Rodriguez this morning, such as like having the monthly breakdown of the agendas of what's happening. Um, in the school, what's going on, everybody's aware of it, and all the teachers, pretty much it's not going to be like a last minute for them. The students seem engaged in the classroom, which was a big thing. I liked your breakdown, Mr. Canino, of your classroom, how you stuck to the time of what you were doing. Your opening routine was wonderful. Um, the worksheet that you handed out for productive struggle, I was looking at the time, you did like 10 minutes for individual work, and then the kids did collaborative work, which is being organized and having like that time frame is something that we probably need to make sure we stick to if we're not in all our classes at our school, instead of doing a lot of whole group all the time.
Which I'm going to pause you, which is something that my visit to your school was a big discussion on Friday. And that is that adhering to the time frames in a framework. If we don't adhere and we don't have consistency to time frames, we might as well not call it an instructional framework. Very good point. All right, thank you for sharing, Mr. Cruz. You've been here before and you've come to observe South before, Mr. Canino, multiple times. Every time you come, talk to me about, has there been a difference?
I have seen the growth as he through time, and every time that I come, you always ask at the end where areas to improve. So that not many people are eager to be open to that suggestion.
So I want to pause you here, and I want everyone that's watching to realize how important an observational practice is. It's not about I'm the best and you're coming to see me. I think that the professor or the educator in this case, which has been Mr. Canino multiple times, humbles himself, and that's not something I told him to do, and that's not something I've asked him to do. Humbles himself and asks the visitors, "How do you feel I can improve?" Which is what I tell my coaches, yay or nay, all the time. When you come into a class to actually model, or when you go into a class to actually teach, you need to, at the debriefing point, ask them, what can I do to better serve you? What could I have done that would have helped you understand me a bit better? So I think that the method, and I don't even, he's never been trained in the coaching method, but for me to hear that he's done this, which I did not, that's a part that I have to be honest. As a coach, I never knew that he was doing that practice. That's phenomenal. And that's when we in all of our schools set our observational teachers, we need to make sure that they do this kind of practice, because then that leaves every visitor feeling he's not above me, which he's not, right? He's observational, but yet he's at par with me. He still has ways to learn and ways to go. So that's crucial. So thank you, Nikki, and thank you, Mr. Cruz, for sharing that point. And so you're welcome. You're new to Bridge Prep, but we're so excited. And you're part of our high school. Even more excitement for that. Talk to us. How helpful was this to go back now into your high school and just take over?
So what I really liked was the fact that after very you were not just going around to check to see what everyone was doing, you're also trying to check to see what every common issue was with each student. Just try to see if there's a common trend. And then stopping, like interrupting that like discussion that they were having with each other, because you were starting to see a common trend of an issue, and then hitting the board and be like, hey guys, I'm seeing this issue, let's talk about what's going on. And then sort of like having them interact, not just you just doing the work on the board, you were actually having them interact and explain what they know, so that they know, okay, I know this, but I'm stuck at this little section, what do we do here? So I did really enjoy that, and I would want to take that back with me. I also really like the exit set. I don't have something like that implemented in my class. I have like a worksheet based similarly, but I didn't structure. I don't have the same structure that you have. So I think I do see where you have where the encouragement of doing an exit set at the end of the day. It helps them engage with the material more, and then it gives them that motivation, as you said, to strive to do better and to pick up on any of the things and ask questions because it's part of their.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Mr. Briganti, publicly, and since everyone is going to see this on SharePoint, I would like to commend you for being the number one. It wasn't just Nikki, it was Nikki and you being the number one top math teachers in Bridgebrook Academy. So I want you to state publicly what your score was, sir.
Thank you. In my seventh grade math class last year, 87% got 4 or 5. In my sixth grade math class, it was 82%.
Okay, so
And then there's the civics at 95%.
woohoo! So we have also a star in house. It's not just Nikki. We have two stars in the house, and so what did I say?
No,
Something?
I said you're not doing.
He's always going to be the star, but I'm
Does that
saying
mean I have all you coming into my classroom next week?
you guys will be going into Briganti's class too, so that you can see his instructional practice. And there's nothing that I would like to see more than Mr. Canino that has been observational to go see Mr. Briganti in action as well. So, Mr. Briganti, tell us what this has done for you.
Well, this is the first time I've ever been involved in anything like this, and it was quite eye-opening because one of the things that I said since we opened up that school is, hey, nobody's showing me really what they want. And this was the first time I saw another teacher teach a class, and it was great for me to see what we do different, what we do the same, the rapport with the kids, as Mr. Marcello said. It was really eye-opening to catch on, as you said, the little things. Yeah, I'm not the best teacher in the world. I had a great year, but there are so many things that I can do better. And just watching it, wow, I never thought about doing it like that. I can implement it. It was eye-opening. It really was, and I'm looking forward to going back now and revamping some of my plans to do some of the things that I saw him do.
Woo-hoo. Now that's all we can hope for. So in doing this process, everyone, when we do observational visits, and I let all of you know before time, it takes a lot of prior planning. And I told all of you to do note taking, note making. I gave all of you look force, including the administrative staff, of what was going to happen today. We're going to now pause for a while, and we're going to actually go into the classrooms in solos, and we're going to do our own thing. The school is open to each and every one of us, and I want you to just explore. And then we're gonna regroup. It is exactly 10:15. Am I correct on that?
10:25.
Okay, 10:25. Okay, so then that's a little bit off. Okay, so we're gonna regroup at 11:15. I think that gives us ample time. I need everybody that's here to not only stay stuck in middle, but I want you to at least select everyone, okay? At least minimum 2 classes for middle, 2 classes for elementary. Minimum. That doesn't mean I want you to stick to 2. And I want you to do note taking, note making. And when we come back, I need you to be ready to discuss what you saw, what you failed to see, what you would like to see, and what you plan to take back. And what was the learning experience after you saw more than just Mr. Nicholas Canino. I want to take the time also to thank each and every one of you for your busy schedule. But I think this is one of the best ways and methods for us to learn as a team, because no matter whether we're South, whether we're Hollywood, whether we're whatever kind of school, I believe that doing this process brings live all of the actual instructional framework, non-negotiables, that as an instructional team we've been trying to place in our schools for years. So these two schools, just so that everyone knows, were selected at the same time, even though we've had other schools come, because they're very similar. They both grew to be an A this school year. They both have two phenomenal math teachers that have raised the bar. And so I think that they have almost the same type of enrollment you have.
437.
You have
I'm sorry,
enrollment.
about 451.
So it's just about the same. So we felt that there was, to start off the initiation process, this would be the perfect fit because of the similarities. Yet, having similarities, there's so many differences. And so I think that both administrators are going to learn bounds of instructional practices together and strategies. And we're talking instruction throughout these observational visits. And amongst that, I think that all the educators and teachers that will be conducting the visits will learn from each school site. Any questions? Well, thank you. And we conclude this session. We will have part two coming up.
New.
Good. How did you like this experience this morning?
It was good. It was like, it was good.
Why was it good?
Oh, cause like I don't really know. Like, I guess it like challenged us in some way, and like at some point we were all like nervous, but I mean it didn't really.
You
We
were
just
nervous to see so many people in your class.
yeah.
All right. Talk to us a little bit. I know that you are in Mr. Canino's class. And have you had him for 1 year or 2 years?
1 year. This is my first year having it.
Tell me, if you were to describe him in 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
You're very honest.
Smart. He's very like, he knows how to teach, and like some students like we learn different ways, and like he knows how to help us and like teach us, and like he's very like smart with it, and I think he's one of the best like math teachers or teachers I've had in like general of like all my years of going to school, and one of like teachers I've like learned with super like easily, and like his ways like I just understand the way he teaches and everything.
Why do you think that is, though? What makes him different?
I'm not sure. I can't really say why. I just like, I don't know. I just get the way he teaches.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable in this class?
Yes, most like that, most definitely.
Do you feel comfortable to make mistakes and it's okay, or
Yeah.
does he get you nervous when you make mistakes?
No, I don't really get nervous, like, cause like the teachers here, they have very like they make close relationships with their students. So like if I mess up in class, like he's like it's fine, like I'll teach you, and then he teaches us, and he'll like do it on the board, and like there's most of the times where no one will want to raise their hand if they don't understand, but he'll know you don't understand, like always, he always knows. So.
And so, how do you think he knows when you don't understand? Tell me.
You should see her face.
Or probably our faces, yeah.
Your faces, okay, perfect. Is there a feel when you walk into his classroom where you feel his grading system is fair enough where you could always challenge him when you feel like your grade should have been a higher grade? Challenge him in a good way, I mean.
Yeah, I feel like I can always like go to him, and like if I feel like I deserve the better grade or something like that, like I feel like I can go and talk to him about it. Like I don't feel like, oh, like I can't go talk to him, I'm like nervous or he's gonna say something. Like I've never felt that way.
Are his classes very to the point, or do you feel very structured, or do you feel that his classroom instruction is one that takes flexible formats?
No, I don't. I think like not really. Like just the way he teaches, like it's just everything about it is just super easy. Like not like easy like that. Like like it's understandable. Everything is understandable. Like it's flexible. Like and he has like really good like classroom structure and all of that.
Okay, nice to hear. If there was one thing that you would want Mr. Canino to share with other teachers, what would that be?
Um, the way he teaches, probably.
Okay.
The way he rolls out.
Yeah.
Okay, but and I keep probing you just because I would like you to be a little bit more explicit. I hear that's what you want. You want other teachers to teach like him. But I want you to tell me, like, just in one word. You don't even have to elaborate. What's that difference?
Um, the relationship he has with us.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for being so honest, transparent, and yourself. Like this was not planned. So I want everyone to know that this was so impromptu. Thank you.